by the power of Grayskull.
Welcome back everyone, it's Mr. Crazy. What's going on? Masters of the Universe was just released. This will be my post-credit scene video for all 3 of the post-credit scenes and what they're doing with the sequels. I know there are a lot of questions based on the box office of this movie, the expected box office. I was surprised at how much they Babe Ruth style shot called the next movie in all the post-credit scenes. Even Marvel nowadays has pulled way back on what they do in the post-credit scenes, but they very clearly wanted to tell you what's happening in the sequel movie in these post-credits. So careful for spoilers for the movie if you haven't seen it yet, because we will be talking about the plot of the movie and the end of the movie. Right after I got my power sword, turns out I need to get a whole other sword of protection, so Mattel please send me that new sword. But the end of the film picks up 6 months after He-Man kills Skeletor during the final battle in Castle Grayskull. All the main hero characters are wearing way more accurate costumes to their original Filmation 1980s cartoon versions. You can see Adam and Teela wearing their new clothes here and some of the other characters. After they do a meme of the extreme laughing from the cartoon series and Cringer almost breaks the fourth wall being confused why everyone is laughing so weirdly, like why is this funny? Why are people laughing? They make a joke of Adam coming up with a He-Man name for himself when he was 10 years old. So in Universe the explanation for everyone's names is that Adam came up with their names when he was 10 years old. But they're not their actual proper names that they go by, so like, they make a joke of Fisto, Ram-Man, Mechanic. So he came up with the He-Man name when he was 10 years old, and Teela being the warrior goddess, which is also after the toy line as well too, which she kind of blasts at, like okay. Then they all make fun of Adam again, as he runs off to change into He-Man and change Cringer into Battle Cat, with them also pointing out that they saw Adam clearly as He-Man during the final battle 6 months ago. Why is he acting like it's secret now? And they're just gonna be nice to him and pretend like they don't know that he's He-Man now. The big teaser for his next adventure right after this is helping the Avianians, the bird people. Stratos leads their people. He wasn't in the main part of the movie. I think they're just setting him up to meet Stratos in the sequel, like they'll use Stratos a little bit more during the next movie. Then in the first mid-credit scene is Orko doing a reference to the PSAs from the classic 1980s series, which would play after episodes. He-Man would normally call out the moral message of each episode, sort of recapping the events of whatever the episode was. So this is basically Orko doing that. So for everybody that wondered where Orko was in all the trailers, he was in the movie but not in the main part of the movie. He was just in the post-credit scenes. I didn't see who the voice actor for him was, but Merman is also standing behind him in a crowd of people in the marketplace of Eternia, where the main part of this end of the movie took place. There was also an Easter egg for Merman in the Mer-people on the map of Eternia in front of the Castle Grayskull. Right after this, during the graphical end credits, they had stylized versions of all the characters from the movie, but Orko also appears with them multiple times in the lineup, like they're all walking together doing hero poses and Orko is there with them. So I think this is confirmation that during the 6-month time jump right after these events, Orko has been active working with He-Man and the heroes. So like, he's been part of the group but it didn't happen until like the 6 months after the main part of the movie. My assumption is they'll just do more with him in the sequel. Like, they just thought that he was one too many things for the main part of the movie. There were too many things they were trying to introduce to brand new audiences. Then the second post-credit scene is like the big She-Ra scene that everybody was going crazy about. Queen Marlena talks about giving up hope for both of them coming home, both of them referring to another child. And Man-at-Arms then clarifies, saying, she'll come home to us one day, specifically referring to Adora. Then the camera cuts to Adora wielding the sword of protection, calling the power and transforming into She-Ra on a hillside overlooking Hordak's castle, the Fright Zone, and a man enters frame. You don't see his face but he calls her Force Captain Adora, which is a reference to how she was raised by Hordak as one of his force captains. She turns around and says, no, not anymore. And then the camera pans down to the sword of protection again, the jewel in the sword. While this was happening, they also played some of She-Ra's theme music from the classic Filmation series. I think this means that she has just transformed into She-Ra for the first time, and this is meant to happen at the same time as Queen Marlena's speech about Adora is missing. So she becomes She-Ra within about 6 months of Adam becoming He-Man for the first time. It kind of seems like they're changing some of the details of how she got the Sword of Protection and how Adam meets her for the first time, like the events of the Secret of the Sword movie. There were a couple references earlier in the movie to explain why she's not in Adam's childhood drawings. She's not with young Adam before Skeletor attacks at the very beginning of the movie in the flashbacks. What they're probably doing is just changing a little bit from the original Filmation origin story in The Secret of the Sword. When they created her in the original series, the original toy line, they had to retcon her into the classic He-Man cartoon. Because they didn't create her till later after they'd already created the He-Man character. Man has defeated us, but you'll never see this child again.